Hello everyone, Giltar here with an action figure review. This time we'll be looking at the Ryu Hayabusa action figure from NECA's Player Select product line, which basically makes figures specifically based upon video game characters, I believe. Now this is a figure that came out in September of 2008 according to NECA's website, and I believe the normal retail price for it is $15 American. Now it's a 7-inch tall action figure, so I'm starting off with a sort of size comparison to a 1:144 scale RX-782 high-grade Gundam and the 1:100 scale master grade RX-782 one-year war version. As you can see, the average Gundam model kit in the 1:100 master grade line, which is the RX-782 here, is about 7.5 inches tall. Ryu is just somewhat shorter, so it is about a 7-inch tall action figure. So it does have quite a bit of stature to it. Now with respect to the figure itself, before I get into those details, I'd like to touch upon the product packaging because it's pretty interesting in my opinion. First of all, it's kind of large. I mean, it's a 7-inch tall action figure, so it will take up some space. The Ninja Gaiden logo is at the top. Some just interesting graphics on the front. Something to make a note of here is that it does mention that this figure has 32 points of articulation, and it mentions the accessories as a dragon sword, throwing daggers, 2 sets of hands, and tonfas. The figure is supposed to come with 3 throwing daggers that can be sheathed in these thigh holsters here. There are 3 slots so you can put these daggers in. However, the figure did not include them. It seems to be a production error. Some people have been able to contact NECA to get them to send the daggers to them. I have not gotten any feedback from NECA yet. I emailed them like a couple of weeks ago. I'll be emailing them again just to see what's going on there. Another thing to make note of is, it says Player Select, so that's the product line. It also says here ages 17 and up. I don't know if you can make that out. Ages 17 and up. So this is an adult collectible, basically. They're stating that it's not marketed towards kids. Now another interesting point here is that it actually lists production credits. Product development is headed up by Randy Falk. Sculpture and packaging is done by Neo Bauhaus Studios. Paint is done by John Wardell and Jeffrey Trapp. Photography done by Nicole Falk. Fabrication done by Oliver Brigg, and prototypes by Adam Smith. It's pretty rare to see people credited on action figure product packaging, so I think that's a really interesting and a very nice touch. On the back, again, we see 32 points of articulation, an X-ray view of the action figure, pointing out some of the points of articulation. On the top here, we have the statistics of Ryu and some background information of the character. The second part of the packaging I want to show is just the shell that the character, or figure rather, is housed in. The middle section is where the figure goes. The side sections are where these bladed tonfa accessories go. There are a pair of them. And then the top here is where these extra grip hands go. So it's very efficient packaging, to be honest. Doesn't waste space, and it's something I always appreciate about product and packaging design. Now moving on to the figure itself, let's start off with the tonfas, or at least one of them, the bladed tonfa accessory. Pretty big weapon. It's longer actually than the leg of the character of the figure. A really big and hefty weapon. Not so much that it unbalances the figure, but there's a heft to the material in this accessory. Very well sculpted, well done in terms of paint applications. Nothing too intricate, but no flaws as far as I can see. There's a bit of scratching that I might have caused actually. So, but otherwise, just a very well executed product. You get a pair of grip hands for the tonfas, very well sculpted, realistic proportions, very well sculpted actually, nice details. Again, no errors with the paint application. The hands connect to the wrists via pegs, so there is rotation ability when you get them connected, and then there's hinged movement due to the hinged joint here. The figure itself currently has the default hands connected. It has a index and middle finger sort of slightly curved or curled pointing pose hand, and a grip hand for the dragon sword katana, which has the index finger put forward slightly and curled, so it's kind of like a trigger finger hand, to be honest. The dragon sword itself is sheathed on the back. The sheath itself is actually secured in this plastic loop, which allows you to slide it back and forth for some adjusted posing, which is actually quite nice. The dragon sword itself, at least as far as the blade component, is pretty standard katana design. Nothing to really rave about, but you know, it gets the job done. The guard and the pommel are well painted in this sort of light gold color. What I really like the best about the dragon sword, though, is just the sculpting of the wrap around the grip and the painting. The red paint is just a really nice shade, sort of a semi-dark blood red color, and the sculpting is just, even though it's a plastic part, it really looks like a fabric. It's just a really great sculpting done here. Now, as far as the figure goes, let's get into articulation. Really many points of articulation. Starting off with the feet, multiple points here. The ankle itself is able to rotate freely. It bends back and forth, and it bends side to side somewhat. Not a lot, but a good range anyways. And the front section of the foot, or the toe section, can bend as well. The knees have 2 points of articulation, above and below the knee, so it allows you to bend it really up to the calf. So for pretty much a flush bend, a really significant bend there. The hips and thighs have 2 points of articulation. It rotates at the thigh freely, and then it's hinged at the hip itself, so you can move it back and forth, or even in and out as well. You just have to adjust it all the way around, but it's just really great range of articulation there. The waist itself is cut right there to allow full rotation. Very basic, but you know, again, it gets the job done. The mid-torso at about the ribcage section allows a bend, a really good range of bending. The shoulders are hinged to allow sideways movement, but it can only raise that far because of the way the sculpt is, and maybe just some of the extra paint on the parts. Some other people might be able to get their shoulders of their figures to bend even further, but that's about as far as mine can go without starting to force it. And then you have free rotation as well. It rotates freely below the shoulder where the bicep is. I have to make a note here that it's really well sculpted. There's no obtrusive cut or look to the arm where this joint is, so it really looks natural when you move the shoulder and arm around in different positions. I really appreciate that about the design. The elbow has 2 joints to allow a really nice bend there. It's about a 135-degree bend. It's over 90 degrees, as you can see. And again, the wrists have rotation and they're hinged so that they do allow bending movement. And finally, the neck has 2 joints, one right at the bottom where it connects to the torso, so it allows you to bend the neck at the base of the neck. And at the top of the neck, where it connects to the base of the skull or the head sculpt, I believe is a ball joint. It has free pivoting movement, so you can bend it, you can rotate it, and you can move it slightly side to side as well. So that's pretty much it for articulation. Really great range, 32 points of articulation as advertised, and just really great potential for posing. So the next point, and really the final point I want to touch upon, is just paint application and sculpting of the figure. Overall, just really impeccable work. High quality sculpting, in my opinion, just really well done. There are a lot of really great just small details that you can take advantage of if you look up close, like the sort of chainmail or mail-like material on the legs here, the straps that are molded in and sculpted, the straps that are actually free. They're made of like these soft plastic or rubber components on the shin guards and on the forearm armor. Even the flesh parts of the sculpt is well done for the most part, and you can't make it out on my camera, and even in person it's hard to make out unless you look really close, but the eye, the facial area is really well sculpted as well, with like sculpted eyelids. The eyes are well painted, no paint application errors for my figure. Just overall, just really well done, top to bottom, figure and the accessories, just really great quality control. So overall, I recommend this product. I mean, you're paying $15 normally for it, and you're getting what I think is a high-end action figure. I'm thinking, in my opinion, that you're getting $25, $30 worth of a product for $15, and I really do believe that. I think this figure is kind of like a hidden gem, and if you can find it, definitely go for it, especially if you're a fan of the character and the video games that he's from. This is a really great addition to any action figure collector's display and collection. I mean, you're combining great posability, great sculpting, great paint application, and pretty good accessories. The accessory count isn't high. I mean, you get two tonfas, 2 extra hands, and a sword, but that's all the character needs. And to be honest, the only one vital accessory is the dragon sword. It's the trademark weapon of the character. That's all he needs. Anything else is just a bonus. So that's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.